Hey, I'm Justina from Linguistic Adventurer, and you're listening to Curious Introverts' Journeys into English and Beyond, the podcast where people like us find our voice and connect through meaningful conversations. Each episode brings inspiring stories from guests who turn their quiet nature to a superpower while mastering English. No small talk here, just deep, authentic chats to help you improve your English and embrace who you are. Let's get started. I'm here today with a multilingual marvel, Elisabetta, originally from Italy. She's now fluent in English, German, and Spanish. In this episode, we talk about discovering the power of introversion, breaking free from the label of being too shy, and how her observant nature became her secret weapon for learning languages, from avoiding English conversations to confidently giving a talk in German to 100 people. Elisabetta's journey is a true transformation. Oh, and she will also settle the pineapple on pizza debate and share her take on the pizza crimes committed by Polish people. Elisabetta teaches Italian to German speakers. Links to her courses are in the show notes. Her story is full of humor, self-discovery, and inspiration for introverted language learners. You don't want to miss it. And if you're an introvert looking to feel more at home in English, stay tuned. I'm creating a course just for introspective learners. Hello, Elisabetta. Ciao. Come stai?
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bene, thank you.
It's nice to have you here today. I've heard a lot about you, so I'm excited. No pressure, but I've heard about this one story about you giving a talk to, I think, 100 people. It was like a networking event, you know? So I've had this and I said, I need to have Elisabetta on my podcast. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about that event? Or
So after working with our wonderful coach, I started reaching out to lots of Facebook groups, and there was this one group called the words were German, but the name of the group is Networking in Italy, and I just joined. Trying to connect with people. And after a while, the lady who runs it decided to organize an in-person event, and it's a network of lawyers, realtors, and lots of other German, Italian-speaking professionals, and advertising to German-speaking people who live in Italy, want to move to Italy, want to spend a lot of time in Italy. And I was at first I thought, yeah, no, I'm not gonna go. There's no way I'm ever gonna be able to pull that off. But still, they asked me because I had advertised my Italian classes a little bit in the past, and I thought, yeah, okay, let's do it.
So it kind of sounds like an introvert's nightmare, right?
Yes, yes, very fun. And so I rehearsed what I wanted to say. I'm not joking, about 200 times until I had internalized the talking point and I felt somewhat comfortable saying them without like looking at the text and just going. And on the day right after lunch, so we all had lunch, and right after lunch, each of us had to step up to the front and introduce ourselves with the mic to all people in attendance. And yeah, and that's because they were going in alphabetical order, so I know when I was gonna come up. So I drank, probably placebo effect, but I drank this much wine before that. But I was gonna have to listen up even a little more. And for a second, I did feel like my instincts freaking out. I thought, no emotions. Go into what you rehearsed and play the part. And so yes, it took all of the energy that I had. I was done like after that. All the energy that I had. And somehow I went into that rehearsed mode that I had, telling everyone who I am, cracking a couple jokes. And afterwards, so many people came to talk to me and I got compliments as well. And if you guys only knew. So if you were to speak to anyone
inside, right?
they would be all like, yeah, Elisabetta, yeah, she must do this all the time.
Right. But you know, it's funny that when you say when you are describing the upcoming to your speech, I kind of felt like, you know, it was inside imagining if I was to do it, I would be terrified as well. So, and also you mentioned that you've done the speech in German, right?
Yes.
That's kind of like extra
Yeah, the whole event was in German. So, and also because all my beginners classes are in German, so I wanted to needs to resonate with people. So only half of them would have understood if I had done it in Italian. So, but I decided to do it. Yeah.
Yes. And how did you feel afterwards?
Deplete.
That's for sure.
But somehow I still managed to talk to everyone and yeah, make them.
I guess it must be a big sense of accomplishment, because I think when I reflect on my own experience, not with the public speaking, but just in general, and with the guests I'm talking, I'm noticing we are introverted. We might be coming across, like it takes us time maybe to do some things. I see a lot of coming out of our comfort zone and being scared, but I'm like, I want to go and do it and try it, whatever that is. It scares me, but let's just see what's on the other side. Do you think it was similar for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I knew it would sort of be a high return on investment, so to speak. So I know it would bring me a lot in becoming a little more famous in that German Italian group. And so I decided, okay, that's worth the effort. I wouldn't do it for everything in my life.
Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to ask you, would you do it again?
Yeah, I'm doing it again next year.
Wow, amazing, brilliant. Wow. So when I heard this story, I was like such an inspiration, because I'm like, for me, I'm doing podcasts and stuff every time I go in. So for me, it's like it's public speaking. Maybe not like at the time of the interviews, it's just me and a guest, but then it's kind of the idea that the whole internet can watch me, not live, but still. So I'm like, whoa. So when I had this story and now you're talking, I'm like, it's so inspirational. So I wanted to ask you about your English journey. How did that start? What's the reason that you decided to start learning?
So, I was born and raised in Italy, from Italian parents. But somehow always knew I was good with languages. I guess I got that from my dad. And somehow right after, because in Italy, right after 8th grade, people need to choose what kind of high school they want to go to. So there's high school with different subjects, where different subjects are more or less important. And yeah, there was this brand new international high school that had opened like only 2 years earlier, where the whole program was in English. And I thought, yes, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And somehow my parents agreed with me. So I was very, very, very fortunate to be able to make this experience at all. And to prepare over the summer, I had watched the Harry Potter DVDs about 80 times, all 8 of them. And so come September, I could understand everything the British teachers were saying, but when the American teacher came, it was like every time I was like elbowing a person sitting next to me, like, did she say? And so I was thrown into this mix, not being used to speaking English all the time around me. And after a year, I kind of spoke it.
It's like full on immersion. But when you mentioned this, Elisabetta, I have this portrait of you graduating from the school of, was it Hogwarts in Harry Potter?
Yeah, exactly.
So you graduated from the school of Hogwarts into the international school. Full on immersion in English. What a story. But I also know that you speak German and Spanish. So how did that journey start for you?
Well, since we all had Italian and English at that school, then we had to choose another foreign language. And most of my classmates were doing French or Spanish, but me and another kid went for German. Me, because I'd always been fascinated with Sisi's history. You know, the empress, the Austrian empress.
Oh, wow.
And
Austro-Hungarian, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Originally from southern Germany, but then Austria. And her story had always been so fascinating, was because there was a cartoon in Italy. I don't know if it was in Poland as well.
What is it?
A cartoon about Sissy's life, a children's cartoon.
Sure, maybe if you do you know the name of it, or
No.
maybe I will research after our call, because I'm curious. Sometimes I'm very bad with names. I need to put my eye on it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I've seen it."
I have the image in my head, but I guess Sissy in that children's cartoon looks like a Barbie, sort of.
Okay.
And her sister, who was promised to the prince beforehand, is like the bad one, villain in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with Spanish, so Spanish is also connected, I guess, to to your school, how you started as well? Or
Sort of. So taking German for those 4 years, I decided to move to Germany to have some experience abroad. And during German classes here in Cologne, I had so many friends from Spain and Latin America that were like in Spanish, yeah, you're Italian. So yeah, I don't need to make effort and speak English or German with you. I can speak Spanish. I was like, I guess, but I know the answer. So after, early 20s, partying, etc., after hearing that for years and years and years, when it got to the point of deciding what to do at university, I thought, well, I already understand it. So I might as well take Spanish and learn the grammar. Yeah. Well, that's what I
wow.
just think.
So you're a bit of a polyglot.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
worthy of that name, but
I speak quite a lot of languages, and I don't know whether it's a pattern as well, because the more I speak to girls, it seems like, yeah, we speak at least three languages or more. So it must be. But I want to ask you, Elisabetta, so when did you first realize or maybe notice that maybe you're an introvert? And do you think that influenced your life and even maybe learning the languages that you know?
honestly, only in recent years I didn't realize I was an introvert because before I'd always been told, I always believed because I'd been told I was too shy and needed to come out of my shell or something that all introverts hear several
Mm-hmm.
times, no way. And so I always lived with this conviction of being too shy, too shy, too shy. Yeah, until I found out about introversion a few years ago and realized, yeah, it's about the energy. So what gives me energy and what takes energy from me. And now in hindsight, I'm realizing it made me good at languages because I'm more observant. So for instance, lots of observing and deducting and deducing. So something like, okay, I don't know this word and this word, but in the context we have this and this and that. So it can only mean blah blah blah.
Yes, like the laser focus. Yes, I can definitely relate to this. And can I ask you, so was there a situation or maybe, I don't know, experience or maybe you've seen? So for me, I think I can totally understand what you mean. I also had a lot of this, like, oh, you're too shy, too quiet. You have to be more of this or that, like others, blah, 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 blah. But then I was mentioning to one of my guests that there was a book, Quiet, and it sparked my interest. Quiet, very intriguing title. I need to check. So it was actually, I don't know if you've had the book, Suzanne Cain, I think she's writing about introverts and quiet nature and things like that. So I started reading it and I was like, that just sounds like me, the experiences or situations she's describing. So it's like, oh, okay. So I think then I was like, okay, that's so for you was something maybe similar, or how did you go around to it? Be like, oh, okay, I think I might.
Lots of reading while going to therapy mostly. So lots of self-development, lots of reading about psychology and personalities, types of personalities. And then, of course, I also encountered some things to do with intro and extroversion. Also realized all my friends are extroverts.
Yes. Or maybe they kind of put a mask be of extroverts. Who knows? I've had the cases, and one of my guests, she actually said that she was always this extroverted, but actually recently she's like, actually I want to be more of introvert, not the extrovert. I always portrayed myself like this, but now I want to, be okay with who I am.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So it shows like, not even among us, like with the traits, similar traits that we have, everybody is different. Do you think like apart from languages, do you think that introversion influenced your life like in general, not only languages?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I do find it a little bit annoying when people introduce me to their friends and I need to see them at least 3 times to start warming up. Cannot warm up the first day. I'm friendly. I'm going to be friendly, but I'm somehow not gonna feel like I have anything to add to the conversations that are being had after.
Because also the person is new, so you kind of we don't have the knowledge experience with the person to know what, and kind of the small talk. Yes, I can definitely understand that. So can I ask, were there any? So you mentioned kind of like you don't like when you meet somebody and it takes for you a little bit of time. But is there anything else that maybe you had the moments that were difficult for you as an introvert to accept maybe being introverted, and how did you handle that?
But with more of a healing experience after being convinced of being shy and it being something negative. Just realizing, no, I'm fine. I'm good as who I am. And I'm just an introvert and there's many more people like me. So it was the opposite actually.
Interesting. I can definitely see because now even for myself, I think like throughout the school years, I was sometimes thinking that something is wrong with me, and then I think maybe comes with age as well that I'm okay, like with who I am and what I like, what I dislike, how I prefer to spend my time, and it's fine. I don't have to fit anybody else's ideas about me, what I should be. So, Elisabetta, do you think that being our quiet nature is actually helping us with languages, like learning foreign languages? Maybe we have some superpowers, but what do you think, in your opinion?
I mean, we are very good listeners and very observing. So I would say that helps very, very, very much. And also the absorbing of new things, and maybe I would say we process it at a deeper level.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can definitely agree with this. So, do you think that, how can I say? We spend a lot of time, and I think also, what comes to my mind is I think we, as you say, we like learning and maybe even being curious and exploring. Maybe sometimes not even maybe about learning, but just like something new is there, and I want to find out what is it. And did you spend a lot of time learning the languages that learning by yourself or with teachers or with big groups and
Very
stuff?
much. Yeah. Other than, well, English was a bit the exception, but I've most of the learning of German and Spanish was through watching TV shows.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
Do you have your
lots
favorite?
well, for German, there's a TV show I love, called in German, it's called Turkish for Beginners, about a blended
Okay.
family, the mixing the German and the Turkish culture. Very funny. Yeah, I don't know, maybe not in Italy, it was called kebab for breakfast. Maybe it was called like that in other countries as well. And the CC movies, like the Empress Elizabeth movies with Romy Schneider. Yeah, and for Spanish, I know all if there's anyone from Spain listening, they're gonna be feel very cringe at that. But because all my Spanish friends were like, oh. But there was a TV show that was inspired from the movie Fame from the 80s called A Step Forward, Un Paso Adelante, that was super famous in the early 2000s, about this young boys and girls going to art school, like acting, singing, and dancing. Yeah, and I loved it. So I watched it in Italian as a kid, and once I learned Spanish, I was like, I want to watch it in Spanish. I want to watch it in Spanish. And I couldn't find the DVD anywhere.
That's so funny. Oh, wow. And do you think like that quiet time you had learning by yourself, but then when it actually came maybe to going to the point of you going out to the world and start speaking those languages, how did you find it? Was it difficult or maybe not at all?
Well, no, because I had already read and listened so much about the thing that I wanted to say, that I was sure it was correct. So I wasn't afraid of making mistakes anymore.
Wow. Well,
Um,
that's brilliant. That's quite, the opposite, because you can hear like from a lot of people, especially when they start learning a new language, the first encounters are very stressful. We probably rehearse in our heads. I don't know, because for me with English, I was learning like because I started learning in officially at school when I was 13, but probably from the age, I don't know, 7-ish up to
mhm.
13, I was learning by myself. We had some cartoons and stuff, but I think they were dubbed. So sometimes you could catch something out from the sentence, but it was more like, kind of a background noise. So you had to be like really focused to catch it out from the Polish the speaker. So yeah, but with other languages, I always felt very strong in English. But then when I remember when I went to Bulgaria for study, for the student exchange with Russian, so I felt like at the beginning, I felt like my Russian is not as good as my English. So I have the Polish accent in Russian, so I felt like really, oh no. But then I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I'd be like, okay, I need to do it, and I don't care if I don't sound Russian enough. My accent, as long as I communicate with my friends or with other people, it's fine. So it's definitely interesting to see that you are like, yeah, I'm prepped. I guess it counts with our qualities, like you said, being observant and that time that you spend by yourself, that I prepared myself. I know it's good. I listen to a lot of things. Now I just go out and do it. So, Elisabeth, do you think that you have maybe slightly or completely different personality in your other languages? Or maybe that change your confidence as an introvert when you communicate in other languages that you know?
I've thought about it ever since reading an article about this a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that I do. Maybe some qualities are stronger in one language compared to another. I think I'm definitely funnier in English and in Italian, for example, than I am
Okay.
in German or Spanish. But other than that,
And
yeah.
the other qualities that you mentioned, so, okay, being funny, the sense of humor, like you may be a little bit different. Anything else that
For
comes to
example, I
mind?
feel like German has changed my personality. It's more like the language is affecting my core personality more than because like German has definitely made me more I don't want to say selfish, but
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking selfish.
Setting the boundaries.
Yeah,
Selfish in a
yeah,
good sense.
setting
Yes.
boundaries
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Can
Um,
you talk a little bit if you can about how that?
for example, something about when you with regular 9 to 5s, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
Italy, up until I lived in Italy, it was very normal, for example, to go to work when sick.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's just like, yeah, no, sick means sick. You can't work. You stay home. That's it. And it
Oh.
took me a while to get that. But after that, lots of more thinking, yeah, no, I can't. And more really realizing what I guess age has something to do with that as well. Realizing I need to fill up my own tank before doing anything else. And so say no more.
Okay, cool. And do you think that now maybe you take that from German more into Italian? Like,
Yeah.
anything else? What about Spanish? Would you? Because when I think of Spanish, if I was to, obviously Italian for me, it's also like I would say like maybe very extroverted because I think about all the gestures that the Italians do. It's kind of more like lively language. Spanish also feels to me if I could, I don't know, label the language, I would tend more into like Spanish is probably also a bit more like extrovert. What do you think?
Well, at first it was more like, oh wow, Spanish is like culturally and mentally very similar to us Italians.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and lots of finding more things that we had in common from our childhood. And yeah, and stuff like that. Otherwise, more like language of fun, in which I can find some fun. Well, I'm not proficient enough to be funnier, but
Yes, because it comes like, the deeper you go into the language, then you can understand the cultural context and all that because it's more, definitely. Because when I think about like for me, as you say, it probably comes with the age as well, your experiences. But I think like definitely for me, English was like a big catalyst for coming out of my shell. And I think maybe it's also like very interconnected with the fact that straight after university, I moved to England, one-way ticket. I go and my whole like adult life, the proper jobs, relationships, problems, like whatnot, like it was full on immigrant as well, all that load. So I feel it helped me to be like, okay, let's go and do it. You're scared, but go. So I definitely feel like I don't know if it's different personality. I guess you can look from this different perspective, but definitely kind of gave me that push, be like, go and explore, and it's like so many things that you can do. So do you think that you maybe you have like similar situation to mine with your languages or completely unrelatable?
I don't know.
It's a hard question, I know.
Yeah, but in my case, it's more the fact of living abroad because very some way to you. I moved away at 18,
Mhm.
so more like needing to do life in
Yeah.
a new language.
But yes, then also like when I think, yes, as you say, do live in other language. So if I don't have that language, I do the live, probably to some extent, I guess.
No, it's definitely made me bolder and more free and braver.
Amazing. Yes, I mean, with all your, having your talk to a big group of people, now you're doing another one. So it's amazing. So Elizabeth, I think might be the last question, but it's actually not from me, but from the previous guest. So she was asking, what is something you wish people understood better?
That in all areas of life, there are no easy answers to difficult questions.
Oh, wow. That's a deep philosophical answer. Definitely thought provoking. Uh-huh. And would you have any question to a next guest, whoever that will be?
When's the last time you laughed and why?
Mm. No, I tried to think when was the last time I laughed. Definitely the other day, but I don't remember what was it. I have sometimes a memory of the goldfish. Which, but it's definitely a good. But okay, and Elizabeth, I think I have the last burning question, which I'm also a bit like curious whether it will make you laugh or annoy you. So you're Italian, and the question that comes to my mind, we have the pineapple on pizza thing. I think your face says it all. That's a big no.
It's just that us Italian, we're a little racist when it comes to food, if I may say so.
Yes,
Like
okay.
logically, I agree with the rest of the world, but emotionally, I can't. I'm very torn. But it's about like this all these food rules that we have, like not putting pineapple on pizza,
Yeah, that's
or it's not putting ketchup on pasta, or never putting parmesan on seafood, or never having cappuccino after lunch. It's about the tastes and the palate. About because if you eat or drink some things in combination with others, then it's gonna drown out the taste of the other thing. So that's
Elisabetta, you intriguing me. Like, I don't drink coffee. I'm like, parmesan on seafood. That sounds interesting. I never tried that.
yeah, no, I haven't.
I want to commit.
I haven't either, but it would kill the taste of the seafood.
That just reminds me of one situation. I think it was a restaurant in London, Italian restaurant. I went with friends and family. And when you sometimes go to this restaurant, you will have that big jar of parmesan, grated parmesan on the table that you can help yourself. You know, sit in a group of us. And when we came, the jar was like, it wasn't a huge one, but, quite a big one. And it was almost full when we came. So we ordered pasta. And of course, we were just like, oh, yes, parmesan, just sprinkle more. And then I'm not lying, I think we came up to like half of the jar and we're like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. As if we never seen parmesan. But it was so good. Yes. But whatever. Sorry, that's an extra question, Elizabeth. I think I know the answer to it, but I'm very. It's funny to ask because I don't know if you know. In Poland, when we have pizza, when you order pizza, you go to a restaurant or get a takeaway. You will always get those. If it's takeaway, you'll get a small package of tomato sauce and then the garlic sauce, and then you can just spoon it on your pizza. And we, as Polish people, we do it. What do
Let
you
me
think?
go cry for a second, and I'll be back.
Okay, sorry.
No, I mean,
I hope there are tears of laughter and or maybe pity. Like, what do we do with our taste buds? Yes, but it's very. Yes, I don't know why it comes from, but it's honestly like every restaurant, or if you even do pizza at home, we can put the tomato sauce as a base and then you put your toppings. But then when you eat it, you also have the sauces, the garlic one or the tomato ones, the most popular ones. So we do it, but I've heard it even from non-Italians in England when sometimes people say like, what are you putting on a pizza? Or they even joke, even when my family be like, hey, pizza, and like, oh, yes, so you're Polish, like, and where is your ketchup on pizza? You're not putting it today? Like, are you okay?
Just don't do it in Italy, and you're
yeah. Just try to stop myself. Okay, well, Elisabetta, that's been fun. Thank you for joining me and sharing your story. Such an inspiration. Now I'm getting a bit like, oh, well, maybe my next step is actual public speaking. Who knows? But all the time being, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you relate to my guest story? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends or anyone who might find it helpful on their own journey to embrace their quiet personality. I'm here to help you with English learning, whether you want to connect with others or turn your dreams into reality. If you'd like to leave a review, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the show. It will help me reach more people like us. And don't forget to check out my Instagram at linguistic.adventurer for more tips on learning English or to ask about my one-to-one classes or group courses. Thanks for listening, and until next time.